truth is that it's, the evil in this world is what's the craziest thing. And yeah, sure, some of my theories might sound a bit strange, but I don't know. I just tend to believe that my ancestors weren't all just a bunch of idiots, because if they were, then maybe I would be an idiot. Besides, it's obvious. I mean, it's obvious that we lost a lot of our diversity. Not necessarily just as humanoids. I'm talking as a world generally. I mean, lots of the animals and everything. My belief is, and it's a logical thing that could happen, it literally could happen. I mean, if we believe in aliens and creatures being, totally different from us, living on another planet and being totally different from us, and them having capacities, sometimes that would, surprise or be strange to us. I mean, why can't we fathom that we were once like this? And it's like, why not? So, what I think is that when God created us, because I truly believe in God, because the creation is perfect, and if you know how it works, well then you know it's perfect. And God is eternal. He is the sum of evolution. He has always been, He is, and He will always be. And we could only hope to be like God, because that means that we would never die, that we could enjoy all the beautiful things that God gave us. And of course, it didn't completely work out like that, but God is supposed to give us that. So, and people would imagine, say, if you never die, I mean, it doesn't matter. You never die. It doesn't matter. The universe is infinite. It's like God is infinite. It never stops. It's just continuous. So that's what happens. And there's just so much to see, so much to know. And on His planet, on the Earth, I mean, that one is just absolutely incredible. But, I mean, we've been devolving so much. I mean, we've devolved so much. We've lost lots of the capacities that God had given us. I mean, we could imagine that anything was possible on Earth when God first created it. And we can imagine that God can bring that back, and once again, it'll be just the same. So, I think that when God created us, He created us all different and with more diversity. And that actually humans were the most diverse creature on it, that there was no other creature, no other group of creature that could rival human beings as being the most diverse ones. And, God said that He made us to rule every part of the world. And to do that, we definitely had to have special abilities, and we definitely had to be adapted to that. And we were once. That's what I believe. Because I just don't believe that my ancestors were all a bunch of idiots. I can't believe that. And it's mentioned way too many times. So I tend to believe that, yeah, we were ruling the earth on every corner. The waters, the mountains, everything. The skies. But what happened, well, you have a huge flood that comes and God just took everything away a little quicker, I guess. I think it was by pity, because it just seems like it takes forever. I mean, seriously, to stop evil. Just evil, and for humans themselves, it just seems like it's a battle that never stops. It's like chasing after your tail. Like, seriously. And you think, the world is one way, and it's so much worse. And so it definitely, to me, it definitely, it's obvious that without God, we just wouldn't exist already anymore. I mean, and he did this as, I think it was pity, because seriously, I mean, there was so much mayhem at one point, and it was just too much violence maybe, and he just wanted to give a clean slate. Maybe that was his goal. Who knows exactly what his idea was exactly, but I think, if anything, the thing I believe the most is that humans are just destroying it, and hey, okay, well, God took charge and decided to change the odds a little, for the reason, most likely, that he still believed in some of us, and he didn't give up on us. So that's what I think, you know. So you have all these creatures disappearing, all these environments changing, and the whole earth is changing, and it's like, it would have been quite miserable after those floods, and whatever was left, well, it becomes homogenized. We have all these species who just end up, intermixing as well, because they can't really subsist on their own anymore, because the population has just been decimated so much by the disasters. So you have that going on with humanoids. But humanoids, the thing is that we, from what I understand, we've ruined our genes, so that kind of made us devolve, and we were homogenized a little bit as well too, because God had created a lot of these different types, and there weren't many left, and lots of those genes were destroyed. So it does. I think it does that. I think that we were humanoids and we were kind of homogenized because of what was left. There were probably more humans left, more human form like I have now. That was actually the largest part of the population probably that was left. So it homogenized everything else, because, I mean, obviously we could intermix anyway, because we were the most complex, most diverse creature on Earth. So we could intermix. There was not a problem. So, but we were homogenized. And then there's the destruction of so many of our genes. There's these people who, want to inbreed and destroy our genes. It's wrong. You don't do that. It literally destroys our genes. You need diversity. Diversity is actually the best way to ensure, future offspring. It's the best way. There's more chances of that working and of that being good than anything else. You don't want to, what I understand, they say that, there are genes that if you get, the same bad gene from two parents that inbreed and then the kid is sick, right? But that doesn't happen as much. Actually, it's what happens really. It's that when you lose genes, what's left? See, our genome is very complex, and it has to have a lot of choices, because our environment, we have to adapt to our environment as well. So it's like our genes are there. They're like a code, and they're like, okay, well, what will work at the moment? Well, that's what goes. So you have more than one gene for one thing. It's not just one gene per thing. So, I mean, your theory, to me, doesn't really make sense. It's the other way around. It's the missing genes. You have to have, the more diversity, the more genes, the better it is, and for the person to be healthy in the world, because we never know what will be exposed to our environment. It's like saying, in immunity, the more immunity you have, well, the better chance that you have. So, but that immunity, there are a whole bunch of, diverse genes. So that's what you get. The more diverse, the better. The less diverse, not as good.